Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We're doing another Get Ready With Me featuring Vanessa. So I hope you enjoy this one.
Realistically, who else can she feature?
Many
It's not
people.
like she has many options in these seasons. Really, who?
I don't even think I appreciate that comment. It's critical times, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's start. I don't know what we're gonna be doing to our eyes.
We've already done our brows.
And we've already done our brows, but yeah,
I'm
just so
not
the video
using
can
these
be
two
shorter.
palettes. Merv is using.
I'll be using this one and probably this one, the one that Van has, the orange one, and Jackie Anna. I don't know.
I'm only using these two for sure.
We'll see. How have you been?
Yo, that's such a deep question, Faith.
Yeah, it is.
How have I been?
How have you been?
Well, let's speak on a perspective of that's broader than ourselves. It's quite a season in terms of being a makeup artist right now, simply because there's no events, you know, people aren't doing public events and stuff, and you know, so that's that. And then people love fear. Like, it's a weird thing. Like, but I realized that, like, I kept on saying to people like, oh, don't be afraid, but then I realized that, like, people really love fear. They love to dwell on anything. Like, they love fear. People love fear. I don't even think that they fear for their lives, because when you look at the amount of recoveries compared to the deaths and the precautions, and I'm not minimizing, trust me, I'm not minimizing. And then some people will say that's because you don't have family members. Yes, I do have family members that have had it, but I'm just saying that, like, I don't know, like, people love fear. So that's been very interesting to live in a season where people don't choose life, like they purposely choose fear. So that's interesting. And have been financially, as a makeup artist, let me specify financially. What's the financial part I'm speaking about? Not financially overall, because you know, and financially as a makeup artist, very, very, very interesting seasons. I was having a conversation with Tandaloetu from Instagram this morning, because I had to do her face, and we were talking about how every industry is highly affected. So how I've been is in that, and luckily I have a degree. But what's interesting is that when even your degree is also struggling.
I think these times are like, I think before people used to be like,
Backup.
oh no, find yourself your own income stream, and like make sure that you have your own business, and you know. And then there was also a time of, oh, have security in the 9 to 5. But this is the only time where both ways
Or struggling.
both ways. You don't know, there could be retrenchment at one person's job, you know, and at the other end there could be someone else who's like entrepreneur,
Precisely.
enterprise has to like shut down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's the very person that has to retrench.
Like,
so,
did you hear Destiny magazine is off, Bona magazine is off, so many magazines are out, completely out. Destiny completely out. They even got a new name.
no way, so serious.
I'm telling you. So there's a whole team of people that
or just not it.
not it, and maybe for those people that was their 9 to 5.
Exactly.
So how I've been in that regard, rough, but I'm understanding, like, God is an interesting God. Like, I've just been, like, I have mad respect for God because, like, while we were planning our 2020, while all those things, like 2020 was supposed to be the year, and you know, usually I say this is supposed to be the year on hypothetical and dreams, but this was tangibly, like, plans, set, deals, signed, was supposed to be the year. But it's so interesting how God is just so different. Like, while those deals was being signed and those plans were being made, he knew. Like, he knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And he just was observing and watching. So
Yeah.
I find that very interesting. And then other than that, how are you, dude?
I'm good, hey? I think I'm good. I think every day is just a new day, you know, in terms of like work, in terms of just God. I feel like I have a newfound like reverence for God. Just everyone's been going through something you know nothing of. But one thing I've really tried to be is present in the moment, like trying to help out in every way I can. Not dwelling on my own or what's going on with me personally, but actually just like looking at like, okay, people aren't eating, people are going through like hectic things, like what are you doing for them? Do you know what I mean? And I think that that's really helped me, like especially in this season, just not to dwell on like what's happening with you, you know. And I think that it's amazing. And the other time I was just telling myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, like the way I miss serving. And I think that I miss serving so much just because it's the one time where the kids are the issue. Just focus on the kids. Do you know what I mean? And I don't even care about what I'm going through because I just want to focus on the kids. Do you know? And it's so refreshing because after you serve, like you just feel like, oh, I'm so happy. You know, like you just don't leave the same, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just an amazing encounter, an amazing experience, you know. So now in this time, I feel like I've gotten very close to my friends. But my friends have just been so good to me, like literally so good. Like they've just been so present in everything. I won't lie, it's been nice. And then today, the topic for today is if I knew then what I knew now, what would I do differently?
Oh.
That's my topic, and it's across everything.
Oh, if I knew then what I knew now, I would. Oh, there's one thing that I've always said that I would do. I think I would take varsity very seriously, because varsity is actually easy. It's very easy, and I didn't know that until I finished it, and I was like, oh, dude, I could have done cum laude. Like, I actually could have. But I think my lenses were so... And I know that you and I have had this conversation before. And I don't want this to block my sound. But anyways, I'm going to project more.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation before in terms of... if I knew then what I knew now. In terms of... I'm very present focused. I don't know. I used to be, like, back then. Yeah, back then. I used to be present focused. So... what's the issue? Let's solve the issue that's at hand. And so in doing that, I think a lot of times, and I've worked since I was 16, and the only reason I'm mentioning that is to say that a lot of times I found myself where I sacrificed varsity because I felt like certain needs needed to be met right then and there. And it was true, but not true. Like I could have just focused on school, and those needs were gonna find their way. Like it really was gonna be okay if I didn't like give my heart and soul to the needs. So, yeah, that's one thing, huge thing I would say. If I knew then what I know now is I would probably come. I don't know how I would, because I don't know if I would listen to myself. That's also another problem. I would probably say something like, dog, you can get a distinction in this thing. This thing is spanky. But I don't know what way I would listen to me then. Because then you would have to come with the
you don't know what way you'd listen
like,
to.
Like, if I had a dream, I wouldn't listen. Like, if I had a dream, like, dog, you can get 90. I'd be like, okay, I know I can get 90. But I need to work. So, back up. You know what I mean? So I don't know how this message would be delivered to me, that I can actually do the best, that I can actually boss up. So I don't know. That's my only fear, is that how would this message of greatness be delivered to me? Ish, God also has a lot of work, eh? Honestly. It's probably steady coming to me in dreams, and I'm just like, yeah, I know. But
from the dream to the action is the problem. I hear you.
Yeah, but that's probably... Okay, so there's that. You?
Leaving high school. Same as you, hey? Work harder. Because I think for me, I used to think to myself, like, nah, dude, as long as like I'm passing and I'm not getting below 50, I'm good. Yeah. You know what I mean? As soon as I saw 65, I'm like, shut. Let's move on. Like, I can't say to anyone that like varsity was particularly hard for me. For the stuff that I tried really hard, I got distinctions for.
But I'm please gonna tell you, like, so many people that I know, like, say that, oh my god, blood, sweat, and tears walking down.
But it was challenging. It wasn't hard. It was challenging. It was more challenging because you didn't have time to do everything that you needed.
Yes, because I was working.
You know,
I definitely didn't have blood. Maybe a bit of sweat because I was running to class, but not tears. Like, maybe a bit of tears, tears. But I feel like my tears were because I slacked and I did it last minute, and so I was freaking out because I was coming from work and there was so much going on. But
And also, I think that my thing, I would say, one thing I wish I did better that I didn't do was not procrastinate. It wasn't necessarily that I didn't have time. It was more that I didn't use my time effectively. Like I knew, like you have to work tomorrow, but I'd literally just be on the socials until like midnight.
On socials, did we?
I don't even know what I'd be doing, but
Me too.
or I'd be socializing for a long time. Like, why are you socializing when you know you have work tomorrow and you won't be able to make a class? You should be using that time to catch up on the class.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So that's the only thing
it's just it wasn't.
However, though, please.
It wasn't well applied.
Your time.
Yeah. You know, even now when I think about like stuff that I get done, I'm like actually proud of myself because I'm like, shucks, I've done a lot. And that was all from, I had to learn prioritizing. And I had to learn when, I won't be able to do it, let me delegate.
So good.
Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I'm still learning that in everything that I do, you know. And it's so important. I think that it's very, very important to learn delegation and to learn like prioritizing. It's so important. One thing I do have to say is that now even in my adult life, I'm learning prioritizing so much. I'm learning to just do what I need to do when I need to do it, you know. And I'm not saying I'm getting it right all the time, but I'm trying as much as I can to apply myself at the time when it's required, because later I'll be too tired. So I think that prioritizing and just making sure you spend more time doing what you need to do and less time doing what you want to do, and then from there you'll just start seeing that like everything starts falling into place. But I also have to say I didn't do bad in varsity. I actually did reasonably well.
I feel like I only did well in last year.
Yeah, my final 2 years. No, but even in my first degree, my final year was the best year. And, well, no, my final 2 years were the best years of both degrees. But in the last degree that I got, my final year was the best year. I think by third year you start to click. You're like, no, dog, I'm not living like this. So you try like sum up as many A's as you can. And that's always, hindsight is 20/20, as I always say.
I have been loving Korean shows. It's the only thing that gets me over my thoughts.
Thanks to
Merveille and Diana.
Thank you.
It's the best thing ever, Korean shows. I like, knew then what I knew now, I would be... Also, but I don't regret so many things. Like, there's so many things I don't regret. Because I've literally felt the character change in me the moment I endeavored into something. Like, I went into something. I felt like I needed to do this because it changed the perspective, like a lens. My lens changed. So I don't regret much.
I don't think if I knew then what I knew now is a regret. It's what would I tell someone else in my shoes to do? It's like yesterday I was speaking to my friend and she was just like, oh no, like she's feeling some type of way about this guy. She should tell him she likes him. I was like, don't. I've been there. I wish I didn't. Not because like the outcome was bad, but just because I feel like it's okay. Like you will get over it. I know it feels like you won't, but you will get over it. It's like, you know, and seeing him do what he's doing, he's going to eventually do what you want him to do. You do not need to take that ball into your hands. You really don't.
I would have maybe been okay with not going to work that day. I would have been like, okay, Van, this is not the time. You're not in this earth to just work. You're in this earth also to acquire knowledge.
Yeah, true.
So if I knew then what I knew now, that would be definitely one of them. If I knew then what I knew now, I would be kinder to myself.
Not so hard. Do you feel like you're hard on yourself?
Yeah, hard.
Really?
Yeah. I would be kinder to myself and a little bit more selfish. A little bit selfish. I would have, not that I regret anything, but I think I would have chosen a lot for me. I think, yeah. Other than that, but even that, I can't even say. Oh, dog, it's weird. Weird.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying though. It's one of those things that like it's never, you don't think of it in the bad, but you're so glad that the lesson came, so that you're now in a position to tell someone it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what I mean by if I knew then what I knew now. It's more of a, what would I tell my younger self? Hey, by the way, if you're this young, don't do it. If you're finding yourself in the position where you have to like, you know, work and go to school, if you have 3 jobs, I say cancel one.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
it's just not worth it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to do well or trying to support people or just trying to just do good for yourself.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. You can literally just hold on that job, finish your work properly, like your school properly, and I'm telling you, you'll thank yourself later for having done that.
Definitely.
You'll thank yourself. You'll be like, I mean, I might not have had the best clothes, or I might not have had the best this, I might not have seen all the what's it called?
Gone on holiday.
You know, gone on holiday, or I might not have seen all the, you know, the parties, but at the end of the day...
We didn't see the parties.
I mean, I count like balls and stuff as like socializing.
Oh, everyone did it. Balls are so cheap.
Balls was, it's not that it was cheap, it was a waste of time.
Yeah.
You didn't need to be there every Friday, and it was like religious. And there was a time we used to go to balls and then Latin over. That's a whole Friday gone. You understand that? And we didn't even go to class on Friday, like 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I stopped classes. Like I had a double in the morning, audiology, and I stopped it. Like after the double, I'm done. Like that's as much applying of my mind you're gonna get out of me. That
I used to have like a low class at 2 o'clock on Friday. Like for who though? And I used to bunk that class. Now, when did I realize that I actually needed that class? When I failed it. I was like, no way, Smith, go to that class. Then, by the time I passed it, I was like, why did I even... No, I should have just gone to this class. You know what I mean? Because hindsight is 2020. It wasn't worth it. I didn't need to be at the first person at balls. I didn't.
I actually could have walked in at 5.
I could have walked in at 5 and I would have seen the same people there who were there from 12. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just it. That's what I'm saying is that, you know, at the end of the day, it's one of those things like, bruh, if you find yourself in a situation where it's lit there by your varsity, it's never lit enough for you to be missing out on your future.
I wanted to say, even though I'm not married, I'll say this, that I think that the choices of partners you take is extremely important. So don't, like I'll say to people, don't be so heartbroken when things don't work out. Like, be heartbroken, but rather be heartbroken than life broken. I don't know if that makes sense.
I'd rather be heartbroken but then regret. Is that what you're saying?
I just think that it's better to be heartbroken without having to contact the bank and a lawyer than being heartbroken with having to contact the bank and a lawyer and the school of your children and to let them know that now you and your husband are divorced. That's what I'm trying to say.
100%.
And I'll say that. That's one thing. If I knew then what I knew now, at the same time, it's also like, just relax. It's fine. It's never that deep. No relationship is that deep. Also, no job is that deep. Ooh, I went through a phase because that's a good one. I went through a phase. I did the corporate. If I knew then what I knew now, I did what I knew now. I made that decision. I was definitely in the mindset of it's not that deep. I was like, I don't have children. And I remember when I had finished, my biggest fear was to buy a car, because I was like, the moment you buy a car, you're bound to this work, or you're bound to consistently going from job to job without cellaring and seeing what is God telling me about my next best move. It's harder to stop and listen to God's next best move when you have 15,000 rand that's going off your bank account because of your car.
What car are you driving? Range or what?
Oh, those are my lashes.
No, I'm going to give you back your lashes. These are mine.
Is it really?
Yes.
Very nice.
Thanks. Yeah, you're saying?
So relaxer.
Yeah.
Don't be in a rush to get things.
100%.
Like, if you must be in a rush, in hindsight, I think what I would say to myself is be in a rush to save. Don't be in a rush to buy things. And I thank my mom so much that I don't have that thing that, like, what would people think? Or if I don't have a car, what would people say? Oh, my age, I should be. I have, like, that thing. I don't have that thing in me, bro. Yeah, dude. The thing that bothers me the most is mostly where am I compared to what I had designed for my life. Not that's what bothers me, and I know that even that is also a social construct within itself. So yes, I'm more in that construct than saying that, oh my god, by this age I should be, by this age I should be in this, by this age. No, I don't have that. Like, this is where I saw my life.
Yeah.
My entire life. However, the ups and downs, like, it didn't have to be this specific car, it didn't have to be like, this is how I saw my whole entire life. So yeah. Oh my god, shame. We're playing someone else's video at the back. Wait, guys, wait. In terms of relationship,
go for what you want. If you feel like you're in the season where you don't want to like commit, it's okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's okay to still be finding yourself, you know? And like I say that, Lucy, because like I feel like a lot of people rush commitment for no reason. Like, it's not necessary. Like, at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're committing to someone, or not even, because the person could be right, but the timing could be wrong. And I never knew that could happen until I saw that for my own eyes. That the person could be the person, but the timing of the person isn't it. And you need to do some growing, and they need to do some growing, and it's okay, you know? It's okay to grow, you know? Like, not every day, because I found you and you are like, you know my family, I know your family, oh my gosh, we only have 3 months to get this done. No, you have time. You really do.
this thing, and it basically says that it was a tweet, and this lady was basically saying that Christian girls have idealized purity and are willing to settle for anything at the conversation of purity. And it went around like that, and so I was like, oh, this is so profound, it's so interesting. It's interesting that at the sake of purity they are acting weird, almost like, oh my god, I can't say I like him, oh my god, I can't, oh my god, he must pursue me and be willing to marry me in 2 seconds, oh my god. So that's what she's basically saying. And I thought that was very interesting, because I saw a couple of people like liked it.
But what was it saying, like, in its essence, and did you agree with it or not?
I somewhat agreed with it, but not all the time. Christian girls that have not had sex over idolize the fact that they don't have sex, and they no longer view relationship as they should be seen. Like, and therefore she went on to saying that there's a lot of pure girls, there's a lot of virgins that are in marriages that have a lot of dysfunction, because their husband idolized their purity and they didn't look at each other's character.
I mean, that's the world we live in. I mean, especially in the African context, it's definitely the African perspective that we live in. Like, where it's almost, it's just like how we look at men and we think, it's how we almost say, like, oh, is this man a provider? Do you know what I mean? And you see provision, but do you actually see character behind that provision?
That's a good comparison. I mean? Actually, I didn't think you were gonna go there.
It's almost like you're so hell-bent on having someone that's a provider, but that you even miss the character of the person. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, okay, cool, my needs are gonna be taken care of, and my wants are gonna be taken care of.
But what kind of father?
And that's perfect. But at the end of the day, you're deluding yourself to think that that's all you need. You don't just need your needs and your things to be taken care of. You actually need companionship. and you need someone that's good to you, and you need someone that you can talk to, and you need someone that doesn't find you a bore, or like, oh, please stop talking, or like, can't wait till you stop, or someone that embarrasses you in front of their friends. Do you know what I mean?
So good.
Because sometimes that comes with that very character of, oh no, he provides. But at the same time, that same provision, he also like disrespects you. Sometimes we just diet down and we make it, oh my gosh, if he doesn't beat you, then he's a king. No. Sometimes people don't beat you, but they just don't respect you. They don't recognize you. They don't elevate you. And it's not to say that like, oh my goodness, like there's many people that don't do that. Yeah, but that's a problem.
She dog. I'm gonna put a light color so don't freak out.
It's a problem that we're not speaking about the fact that there's people that aren't elevating their wives or making their voices heard. You know what I mean? That is a problem. I think that in what she's saying, it's very true that I think even men, they like, oh my gosh, she hasn't slept with anyone and she's a good girl and whatever, you know? And they're like, that's great. And at least she'll be good for me because I know I've had my fair share. You know what I mean? And even in yourself, you think that let me get some good karma for all the bad that I've done, and it's not that. There's no such thing as karma. It's all repentance. And if you believe, like, you repent and you give yourself to like Christ and you tell yourself, nah, dude, I was bad, but I'm good. But whoever Christ lays on my path, whether they're not virgin or they're virgin, may they lead me more into Christ. And you'll stop trying to find repentance in a virgin girl and you'll actually look for repentance in the Savior. And I think that becomes the problem. Like, oh my gosh, I could never marry someone that's not a virgin. But that time you've ravished like 400 girls. Whose daughters do you think you're sleeping with? Do they not deserve to get married? You know?
Yeah.
And I also hate it when, like, what's it called? Parents and especially women want to be like, oh no, she's not good enough for my son because she slept with people. But do you know how many people your son has slept with?
Come on.
Do you though? Because I can show you a couple. And they're not bad girls. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're great girls.
They're not bad girls. Just because someone slept with you doesn't mean that, oh my gosh, they have lives of debauchery. Oh my goodness. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes I also think to myself, there are some parents, if they were actually honest with themselves and honest with their children, they'll be like, Ja, you're not actually here. For me, I slept with someone that I thought was like going to be my one. But it didn't end up being it. But I never accepted to be less elevated because of that. A woman would find their children are more open to them. There's no judgment because sin is condemnation. And if he came to rule the world and he came to save us, we shouldn't feel condemned. We're not forsaken because we sinned. You know? So don't let someone try to bring you back to where you've come out of. And also I hate the stuff of when people say, your hoes are getting married because they've recognized their sin and they're moving forward and they're like, I still deserve goodness. Why shouldn't they get some goodness? Because they hold around.
Can stand up and say, I used to be a hoe, but now I'm holy. I used to feel worthless, but now I'm worthy.
But I just feel like a lot of women are called hoes that have like are not hoeing.
Okay, I've never heard someone being called a hoe out of context. So maybe I need to understand the context. 9 times out of 10, if someone's called a hoe, it's because they've done some hoe stuff. But if I knew that, if I had to tell someone, you don't have to bare your feelings for anybody. You don't. And a lot of guys say, oh no, but you're missing out. You're not missing out. You don't have to be like, oh my gosh, like you're everything. No.
One thing I will say, because it happened in Unsaid, and I just watched that video recently. My cousin said that fall in love many times and get heartbroken many times. I will say this: if you come into a relationship knowing, maybe you don't necessarily have to know what you want, but you can draw the line, like establish your borders, margins. Yeah, make clear margins, establish the boundaries, and I hope that your boundaries are more than yourself.
So we're back, and
a lot has happened. Your eyes look beautiful. You never do your eyes like that in real life.
I really don't.
Who would have thought that filming is the one that ignites?
Can I tell you, like half the time I come here and I just do things. So yeah, we're back and we're gonna do the final stage, which is the lip.
I feel like I haven't looked at the camera once
You probably
throughout
haven't,
this
but it's
throughout
okay.
this video, so I'm looking at it now.
As long as they can see your face, it's fine.
Hi.
So yeah, guys, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the lips. I
We're
already
gonna
have
do the
my
lip.
combo.
I do not. Pass me the thing. I was looking for consensual.
This is Clarence.
Did you take out consensual for me?
Consensual somewhere there. I can take it out.
Consensual. Kind of sexy. That's fine.
So I've got a Clarence lip gloss, a Juvia's Place lip gloss in Royalty. Clarence is in
Dude, I always have the same.
Gloss Protege Coral Tulip.
My end, kind of sexy, and consensual.
And lastly, it's
And lastly,
yeah, Flesh Pot. So this is how it's gonna start.
look at me looking like Margin Blue.
So first, start with this. Then go into Royalty.
My eyes got red. I don't know why,
Mine too, this one.
but I think it's okay. I think a gloss is always good. Hey,
I live for glasses.
all my glasses are finished. It's this MAC one from the MAC gloss collection from Christmas. I'm happy. You happy? I saw Tancia reposting this thing on Instagram where the lady was basically saying it's. I think she's a Christian lady. When I looked at her content, I didn't look much at it. She was basically saying that like Christian girls have over. I don't want to say overhyped, but they have idolized.
Yeah.
Right? That's the word. They have idolized purity / virginity.
Yeah.
And she calls it purity in her post, and I think that the purity that she refers to is the purity of not having sex, the virginity.
Yeah.
And what she was saying is that oftentimes what she's seen is that some girls are in marriages and have already, crossed over to marriage. However, they didn't even choose wisely simply because they were so fixated on themselves being virgins or being virgins. I want to use purity interchangeably because that's the one that she used. So, and because you fixate so much on that you're not even looking out for the issues. So you have a girl that gets into marriage, a virgin, but she has so many dysfunctions in the marriage. And then she also goes on to say that like some girls like say, no, they're not even willing to go on a date because the guy must come with intention simply because you want to keep up with the image of this purity, but you're not getting to know someone. I think it also goes back to what you also said.
Yeah, I think that people are so reliant on purity as the gateway to marriage. Do you know what I mean? Like, I need to say pure because purity, or I need to say a virgin because virginity guarantees me marriage. You know what I mean? And I think at the end of it, it becomes that we're idealizing marriage because it's irrespective of what the person is like.
Yeah.
It's irrespective.
You don't look at the character
of who they are, and at the same time, in the guy's perspective, it's also true is that sometimes when we look at guys, we kind of think to ourselves, oh my gosh, as long as they give me some form of financial stability,
That's true.
if what does he do? And those are questions that you get, like, what does he do? I hope he's not a hustler or whatever, almost as if like the fact that he provides for you is enough for you to have a great marriage. And that's not true. Like, personality is very important. Compatibility is also very important, and it's one thing that people like to act like it's not important, but it really is. Like, someone can't die down what is important to you, because the very things that are important to you are make you compatible with them. Do you know what I mean? And you have to look out for those things, and it goes beyond money, and the same way men rely on their financial security, women also rely on that aspect of themselves. I think that you're able to go and be like, irrespective of whether she is a virgin or not, or whether she has dabbled, but is she coming with an attitude of humility before Christ? Has she changed before Christ? And can I find myself in this woman? Do I see the similarities? Do I see myself in her? And I think that from there, then we have the genuine chat where you can see like people, a lot of people that you see even in the media, where the person that they married isn't their first sexual encounter, and likewise the man and the woman, but they found Christ as the commonality, because if we both pursue God, then we're able to understand each other, you know. So I definitely think more than anything, more than even, you know, trying to, you know, like, and it's very important because the Bible tells us to stay pure, you know, and virgin and stuff. And I'm not dying that down at all, but if I would just plead with the girls, you know, could you make it an intentional thing? Like, once you know you like someone, don't let them be your pursuer. Actively pursue who they are too, so that you're never caught off guard. Like, actually, I've never seen this side of you. I've never seen this. And people like saying that at the end, like, oh my gosh, had I known that you had this side. And it's not the person's fault, because the person shows you the best of themselves, just like you show them the best of yourself. You know what I mean? But it's up to you to actually think, is this enough? Are they actually doing what they said they're gonna do? Is it good enough? Do I want this? Are we good together? Do you know what I mean? And then from there, you're able to move forward.
Yeah, but I completely agreed with her. I do think that a lot of Congolese girls going to like hold the pedestal of virginity higher than they are holding the need to evaluate both you and your partner. Like, it almost like, oh my God, I'm a virgin, but you are dirty, you have a terrible attitude, and you're not going to that because you have idolized your purity. You know, you may have a stinky attitude, your partner may have a stinky attitude, he may be terrible with your family, but you're not looking at all those things because he's wealthy.
100%.
And he's also, on the other hand, he's not getting along with your mom. He's like, she's rude, she's not getting along with your mom, she's not getting along with any of your family members. She doesn't have a perception, a mindset of saving, a mindset of growing, taking a seed and making it into a fruit. But because she's a virgin, you're like, she's the one, but she's going to destroy your life. She really is going to destroy your life, but you're not looking at that. So I agree with that statement. Like, when that statement came, I was like, preach it to the people at the back, and to me, and to all of us.
Yeah, definitely. But I just think like men and women need to be mindful in pursuit. Too many women want to be pursued and then fall into it and are like, oh my gosh,
he does this for me.
I just can't believe like this is who he is. I'm like, but who were you dating for the past 6 months? Were you dating a free meal, or were you dating like a human being?
Leander was saying that this other lady was telling her, oh my God, that's so slay queen of you. But then, you know, let's not call labels. Let's not put labels into wanting a free meal.
Everyone's done it, stop it.
A free meal, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, let's go.
You
tired.
don't enjoy the person that much, but you're like,
where are we going? Oh no, don't worry, it's a surprise. You look good.
Oh, I don't like those.
You've had a bad experience? Anyways,
tell us if you want us to go.
Yeah, please. I actually want to do it whether you tell us or not, but like let us
know.
That would be nice. Interactive. Worst dates, and then we can all talk about our worst dates. Yo, guys.
That's just fun. It's just for goodness sake.
Just for goodness sake. Don't make it a deep thing.
It's not deep, please.
It's not that deep. Like, we're going through COVID. Let's not make it deeper than it is.
Let's keep it shallow. Can we all be in walking waters, please?
We're all going through things that nobody knows.
Walking waters.
Anyways, on my video, can I plug myself?
Yeah, you may.
We're going to be doing testing and review the sans hair. And so that's what's going to happen on the other video. None of this is it. You'll see the sans hair. The inspiration is my hair. This hair. The inspiration is this hair, but shorter. So
I hope you enjoy it. It's always a pleasure to talk with Van, because I just feel like Van just spews like knowledge about the things she's been through. So it's so good because, like, you know, I feed off her energy, because I feed off your energy. I realize that, like, oh my gosh, she's talking about something, oh my gosh. So it's always easier to talk with her just because she ignites things that I haven't thought of.
I feel like you ignited.
So without further ado, I swear this ad-lib, everything I was saying, she's saying. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for Van for coming. Well, for me for coming to Van so that we could shoot this video.
It's the least that she can do. And
it's always a pleasure.